Okay, so thank you for coming on the call. Obviously, my name's Lynsey and I'm the coordinator for the Extended Diploma in Sport and Exercise Science. And Emma, you're a student on the Extended Diploma in Exercise Science. So, and you're in year 2 and you're about to graduate, sadly, from us. And you're on here today just to talk to us about your experience at the college. And you've brought Dad, Alistair, with you. Thank you so much. And that's going to hopefully add to our, talking about your experience in terms of from the parents' perspective. So that's really important for me to capture that story as well. So Emma, do you want to kick off? Just tell me about like how you found out about the course or how you knew about the course.
I didn't know about the course until results day in 2019. It would have been. My A-level results didn't go to plan, and I'd never thought about plan B. And then it was until I went down to Belfast Met, and that's how I found out about it.
Okay, great. So you hadn't heard about it ever before, like an alternative A-levels or anything like that?
I'd heard about BTECs just in school, but it would have been alongside A-levels, but not having a BTEC as like your whole as an alternative to A-levels.
Okay, no problem. So Alistair, when Emma approached you about going to the Belfast Met then, or talked to you about this course, how did you feel to start with? Or
no, I suppose Emma tried her best at A-levels and it hadn't worked out, and sort of lost a little bit after school, after results. Well, what are we going to do? So she went down to the Met, and I suppose to see that there's another way of getting to university or getting further education without having to resit A-levels. In subjects that I think she always loved, exercise and sport, and didn't have the option of doing PE as an A-level, where the option of BTEC I hadn't again really thought about as a way of furthering your education to be able to then get to university to what you want to do. So that the course that evening, then I think exercise and sport and exercise science were the thing that really stuck out, because it's something she enjoys both practically and I think I felt she would have done well on the course itself.
Okay, so sometimes we get, that parents are worried, maybe the student themselves has found out about the course and really thinks it's the course for them, but parents kind of worry. Did you have any worries about, whether it was really going to get her to university, or were you confident enough?
I hadn't actually ever thought about BTECs before. An older child he resat his A-levels at Belfast Met, and then got into a course, but I hadn't really thought about or heard of BTECs as another way of getting through. So I felt it suited Emma's style of work as well. And so I suppose for me, it was finding out that there was another way to get to university. I'd always been used to being told you need your A-levels and that's it.
So Emma, then what were your fears then when you were thinking, okay, I've applied for this course, that's the one I want, that's the one for me? But I'm sure it wasn't, free from any doubt or worries. So what were your fears leading up to starting and enrolling and so on?
Yeah, well, my first thought was not knowing anybody, and then the second thought I sort of had was I don't really know what it's going to get me onto, whether I'd get onto like university or anything. And then I was worried about being behind in education. Like I just thought, it was, you had to leave school and then 3 years and then you were graduated.
Do you feel like you were left behind, or?
No, because a lot of, I think whenever you sort of step outside your comfort zone of what you've been used to, you realise there's so many other people that are in the exact same situation, and you just, once you leave school, your eyes are just open to the other options of getting to places and where you want to be.
So Emma, what's been the highlights of the course for you?
The highlights of the course has been meeting Hannah and Susie, probably, the two girls that I met, because if I didn't have them, I don't think I would have. Just having them the whole way through, and they're like me, and just the residential and then getting to know them with the practical as well, and just what the course offers, just really, that's just been a highlight. I've loved everything about it, because everything you learn about it's all applicable, and I've loved it. I've just loved all the practicals, the residentials, the teachers, like going in every day. I've just enjoyed the way of it, the kind of.
It did appear different from school, where and we would talk a lot more about her course. I suppose I work in healthcare, and she would talk about different modules on the course, and saying that because she's interested in doing physiotherapy as her degree, the applicability of the different modules, that you could see the point of it. Sometimes with A levels, I know you think, what is the point of it? How is this A level going to help what I want to do? And it's where I found the BTEC to be much more applicable, in that there's a real life problems, like talking about sports injuries, and then telling me about how you get different sport injuries and what are the risk factors for it, very applicable to what she wants to do.
Yeah, so it's in the right context that interests her and keeps her motivated. Then she can see the rationale behind why she needs to learn this stuff, rather than maybe disconnected subjects that you would have been doing at A level, And then
the style of learning as well.
Yeah,
I love the style of learning. Like, you do learn from textbook, but you also learn from real life examples, and then you also learn in practical ways as well. Whenever you go in practicals, like, you refer back to what you're learning. So I just love the style of learning, and it suits me.
I think it is. It's a lot of A level is theory and applying that knowledge where in a different way to BTEC, I think, that I can see, and it being more in a way work-based, if you know, the professional workplace of what. So this is worth learning for me, is what I felt. She could see this is worth learning because it's important.
I can understand that. So then she bought into it more then. So I suppose that leads me to ask you, Alistair, then, from your perspective, and I know we chatted about this before, but what have your observations been about Emma during her time at Belfast Met compared to maybe time at school, or just in the last couple of years, how she's changed even?
My observations of her. No, she did. She loved school, and she got very, very stressed around exam time and mock exams, and so the style of with modular learning, I think, has really suited her, and I've seen her so much more mature in her learning and the way she's applied herself to something that she's really enjoyed, and instead of the A levels that would have got her to where she wanted to go. But I think in herself she's matured too, and matured as a learner as well, and not just as a person, but just the way that she's learned has been much better. And it's nice to see her change from the way just that maturity come on over the last couple of years.
Yeah. And the confidence, I think we have even noticed the confidence in Emma.
It's the way, it's so much higher than it would have been at school.
Yeah.
And that, again, is, I suppose, confidence in enjoying what she's learning, and getting a chance to show that with her work.
Yeah, absolutely, and a chance to excel in the area that she really does. Do so. And
I just felt in school I just never really had the confidence. I just always set myself up that I know I'm not going to do well in this, but I just didn't really know what I was actually doing in school. Say if we had coursework to do or an essay question to do, I had no confidence in myself in school. I just never fully believed I can do this, without actually maybe having to ask the teacher like twice, maybe, or like even having to, like, I definitely would have thought if I was to do well in A-levels, I would have to get a tutor or something. But I just feel like I just have so much more confidence in my learning, and like I do believe in myself a lot more than what I used to.
That's great. I'm so pleased.
No, I can, but my wife and I both can see that big time. It's a big change, and I think that will only hold her in her stead for what she wants to do in the future.
Yeah, and I think you'll be well prepared then for progression, you know, onto higher education as well.
And she said she worried about, you know, it should fall behind her friends, but at 18, you don't, with being a bit older than her, you don't, it's not a rush to get to university, not a rush to get out of university, to get into a workplace, to get, you can take your time. What if you got accepted something lower and ended up doing a degree she didn't want to do? So she ended up further behind. So she'd made the right decision at the time, and that's just to see her flourish after that was so nice to see.
Yeah, it has been. It's lovely. So yeah, you've answered my next question. Do you think it was the right decision for you to go to Belfast Met then, Emma?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yes, I think you've answered that.
100%. I wouldn't change it. I think it was a blessing in disguise, probably, that the fact that I didn't know anything about it, and then to go in there, just completely knew everything, and then to like actually start doing well, it was like kind of a surprise. I didn't expect to do so well, and then yeah, I wouldn't change it. If I was to go back to results day, I would definitely have done the same thing. I wouldn't have chosen A-levels again.
I'm going to take you back to that day we had that guest lecture in, and you got quite emotional saying it was the best thing that happened to you. Is that still how you feel? It was the best thing that happened?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think if I hadn't gone to Belfast Met, I would have. Yeah, I wouldn't be the person I am. Just in terms of like having like education with everybody from everywhere.
Okay, so Alistair, what would you say to any parents that are worried about letting their child go to Belfast Met or go on to this course specifically?
I don't worry at all about it.
Go for it.
I could definitely go for it. And think, you know, they always say at the end of whenever results come out, don't worry that there's people will be disappointed, and we were one of those parents that were disappointed, but for Emma, not
in her.
And I was so delighted to see how she's done, and she's taken on a course that she's really enjoyed, and I'm so glad she didn't go back to sit A-levels. She needed another way to learn, and that's what was offered from Belfast Met as an alternative to get to where you want to go. And so I would say to any parent, go for it. It's been such a positive experience for us to see how she's got on and thrived.
Yeah, great. And Emma, what would you say to a student who thinks maybe isn't overly happy at school, but you know, and then has accidentally found out about this course but it isn't sure, is a bit worried, not knowing anybody, worried about falling behind? What would you say to them?
I'd say go for it, and don't even second guess it. Like, just go for it. If you like sport and it's the only thing you like, go for it. Because you'll get so much more out of a BTEC in sport and exercise science than you would in doing PE and say like nutrition and food science and biology at school. You get so much more out of it, and it'll actually lead you in better stead going on to careers. And even if you say you don't do a BTEC in sport and exercise science, but you like other BTECs, like just go for it. Because and say you really like school and you like your peers. Like, say if you just want to finish school because you love the environment, you want to have that experience of school, don't be scared to have that extra 2 years to do your BTEC and then go on to university.
That's great advice, thank you. So what are you going on? Do you want to tell us what you're going on to do or what you've applied for anyway at this stage?
Yeah, so hopefully in September I'm going on to do physiotherapy at Northumbria University.
It's good to get from a parent's perspective, because we hear a lot that, maybe the student themselves have bought into it and think the BTEC's the way to go, but parents are still, all they know is A levels, and
Yeah.
And they're scared to let their children go, and they think then that when they come to a college they will lose control, because no one will be pushing their student or their son or daughter. Nobody will be chasing them for work and so on. And I just, feel like it's really important to reassure that that's not the case. A parent can have as much or as little input as they want, but we will still chase the student and support them as best we can, So we do our best. So.
And again, well, I get that pastoral support, and again, that you do see at school as well. It's been very evident as well at Belfast Met to encourage students. It was so much different than I expected it to be.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad you've got so much out of it that you have, Emma. So you've been a delight to teach as well. So thank you very much.
Good job.
Right, thank you very much for coming on this call. It's been lovely talking to you and getting the insights into the parents' perspective, and then as my graduate who's about to leave me, I'm still not going to get over this. I feel robbed, but anyway. Right, thank you very much.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you soon. Okay.